Welcome Scorpio, Dadhichi Toth here from astrological.com.au. Thank you for joining me again. This is your February horoscope. There it is for you. Not that that gobbledygook means much to anyone. I prefer to try to keep it as simple as possible. Of course, some of you prefer me to give you the actual technical meanings, but let's not labour that. You simply want to know what's going on. First thing I note here is that there is a very important full moon taking place in your career sector in the sign of Leo. That's your 10th house of profession, career, self-esteem, identity. And the full moon, part of the lunations, we see the new moons and the full moons, a couple of other phases there, but the full moon is very important in that it actually brings, I guess, to fruition some of the work that you've been attempting to do. And because we see also in your career sector that retrograde Jupiter that's been going on for a few months, this can, for many of you, have been a very frustrating set of events. We've talked about that earlier, but it's nice to know that when that transiting moon, especially when it's full, is in the vicinity of Jupiter, you could expect things to start opening up for you. And that's a very, very good one. I've mentioned to some of the other star signs as well the very important and idealistic conjunction of Venus with Neptune in your 5th house of love affairs. One of your ruling planets, Mars, is also there, bringing with it a lot of passion and a resurgence of that creative drive that some of you may have lost towards the latter part of 2014. It's nice to know that you haven't lost it permanently. It is coming back, and that 5th house does bring you back into that, what I call the timeless, spaceless, spontaneous, creative state that is so important if you're trying to develop your businesses, your relationships, and your self-awareness as well. So it's not just one specific area of life that these transits relate to, as you can see when I describe them. So that important conjunction builds up to a high point on the 2nd of February there in your 5th house. This has to do with children as well. You need to be clear on what your disciplinary measures are. A lot of you know I'm a Scorpio, and I'm having that very same situation. The mother and the father are sometimes at odds with how to find consistency in the way they discipline their children. Now that discipline extends to your own internal child, because when you're in that creative state, the child within you is trying to express itself, and you need to direct it clearly and adequately. For those of you that haven't seen the introductory video this month, I'm talking a lot about that, so that might be an important supplementary segment for you to look at in keeping with this very vital transit in your 5th house. From the 5th house as well, the trine aspect to the sun, depending on when you're born, but generally this is very fortifying, very energizing for you physically. I've found Scorpios lately may have been a little bit tired and just lethargic and lacking in that drive and initiative. Mars and Sun in this combination will most certainly bring back some of that joy and initiative that may have been lacking for some time. That perfects on the 4th of February, and that again is at that same time that that the moon, the full moon, and Jupiter conjoin in the 10th house of profession. The right angle position of the Sun in the 4th house shows, along with Mercury, which has been retrograde, lots of work on the home front, projects there that you're doing in a domestic situation, maybe trying to bring family members together, construction, purchasing, selling. This can be extended to the idea of bigger ticket items like cars and vehicles. These sort of things may have been worrying you for some time. And unfortunately, with the retrogression of Mercury, which is not the friendliest planet to you, you've seen delays in that area, which I'm pleased to say around the 12th of February, when Mercury goes direct, should start to dissipate and give you a sense that you're actually achieving something now, rather than that proverbial 2 steps forward, 3 back. So there you go, that's on the 12th. There are some square aspects here. These are the harder, challenging aspects, such as the one I mentioned, the Sun from that 4th sector to your Sun sign, Jupiter from the 10th sector to your Sun sign. That's showing an excessive expenditure of energy and money too. Money may be coming in, but right now the expenses will be very, very high with that particular planet. And for those of you that run your own businesses, this could be expenses that are related predominantly to your business itself. So there's two components there. The position of Mercury and Sun in the 4th house, that's the expenditures on property, and Jupiter in the 10th, and that right angle. Don't be too over optimistic. It's a good idea, even if you're starting to see some good cash flow now, to hold on to a bit of it and don't jump the gun. Because, you know, everything in life is cycles, which is what we're doing here, looking at these specific cycles. The 5th house position of the Sun shifts things dramatically for you from that focus on family and home life to the, again, the 5th house of romance and love affairs. If you've been weighed down by all this crap, then this is the time when you can actually breathe a sigh of relief that you have time. Maybe you've created it or it's just fallen into your lap. Time to actually do the things that you want to do to create something of meaning during this phase. And that's a 1-month phase, so take advantage of it while it's there. The 6th house transits of your ruler Mars on the 20th, Venus on the 21st, and then the conjunction of these two planets in that 6th sector on the 22nd. These 3 dates are very, very important, indicating a shift in terms of the location of your work, the way you work, the type of people you work with. You'll be discriminating a lot more during this cycle, so the next month or two is an important one for you in terms of re-establishing who it is you want to work with. If you're not comfortable with the people you're working with, some of you have maybe had to or will at this time make some decisions associated with, I guess, the standards that you set for yourself and the type of people that are working with you. And that's on those dates and leading up to that. By far, I think one of the heaviest aspects, and before I get to that, don't forget the new moon that takes place on the 19th, and I mentioned that there in the 4th place, 4th house of your horoscope relating to domestic issues. And that is also the maternal sector of your horoscope. So this is the start of new things, a new cycle in your domestic arena. If you've been lacking in time or devotion, then the new moon there is a good omen for opening things up on the home front. I was just about to get to this very hard aspect of Sun in the right angle to Saturn. Speculation is to be avoided at all costs. You will regret that, as this is a transitive responsibility, and that shows for a moment you may slip up. So don't forget your duties, don't forget where your bread and butter are, and don't take uncalculated risks, so that could result in some losses. Final few aspects there, 3 favourable ones and 1 mixed. That's the Mars favourable aspect to the career, again giving you another lift in energy, but that's physical energy too, so you may want to do some exercise and kickstart that side of your life as well on the 24th and leading up to it. Venus in a good aspect to Saturn, and Mars as well to Saturn, 25th and 26th, with Sun coming to the conjunction of Neptune on the 26th. They're all important and predominantly favourable aspects, particularly for bringing your dreams into the here and now. And as long as you've got a good game plan going, then this will afford you the opportunity to start to realise those dreams towards the end of February and into March. Join me next month for your March synopsis. Don't forget, take a look at your daily, monthly and yearly readings at astrology.com.au. There's a lot more detail there, and they're textual, so you can balance that against what I've said here off the cuff with your horoscope. And you know, we have a lot of free readings there, but our bank of psychics now, including myself, if you want a more comprehensive and personalized reading face-to-face here on Skype, then you can do that as well, and I look forward to that. See you next month. Bye-bye.